In Matthew chapter 16, verse 17, Jesus says, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by man, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you the truth, that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it." So we have a passage here where Jesus initially asks his disciples, "Who do men say I am?" And some of them responded saying that you are Elijah, according to people. Some say you are John the Baptist. Some say you are Jeremiah. Some people are just saying you are just a prophet. And Jesus turns the attention from what other people are saying, and he turns it to his disciples to say, "Who do you say I am?" And Peter, who is the spokesperson of the church at the time, or the spokesperson of the apostles, says, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus then turns around and says, "On this foundation I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it." And so the question would then be, what is the foundation of the church? Is the foundation of the church Peter himself? Is Peter the rock? As the name Peter does mean rock. What is the foundation of the church? If we look at Peter himself, was during the time of the ministry of Jesus, was someone who was very unstable for him to actually be considered as a foundation. And so the question then would be, what is this foundation that Christ will build his church on? And so it's not so much about who is confessing Christ, but rather it is who is being confessed that is the foundation. So Jesus is saying, on the confession of Christ, or on the right understanding of who Jesus is, there the church will be built. In other words, it doesn't matter whether it's in the Amazon jungle, it doesn't matter if it's in a rural village, it doesn't matter if it's on Wall Street. Wherever Jesus Christ is confessed as the Son of the living God, as the Christ, as the promised Messiah, there his church will exist. In fact, Jesus says, if two or more are gathered in my name, there I am there. And so where Jesus Christ is confessed as Lord, the church begins. That is the foundation of the Christian church, is when Christ is confessed as Lord. Now Paul says in Romans chapter 10, verse 9, says, "If you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved." 1 John chapter 4, verse 15 says, "Whoever confesses that Jesus is the Son of God," it says that God lives in that person, and that person lives in God. Jesus also says, "Whoever acknowledges me before men, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But whoever does not acknowledge me, I will also not acknowledge or deny in front of my Father and the angels." So really, what is important for the Christian church is to begin to be clear on the identity of Jesus. That's the foundation that we stand on. And this is why I mentioned on Sunday that when we are attacked or when we are being questioned, the devil will always go for the foundation. And if our foundation is not Christ, if we're not clear on the identity of Jesus Christ as the church, then we will actually struggle to build his kingdom. But when we want to build and advance his kingdom, we've got to have a very clear understanding and a clear view and confession of Jesus Christ as Lord and the center of the church. And so we even mentioned that even John the Baptist, when he had a wilderness experience, what he was not clear about was the identity of Jesus. Are you the Christ, or should we expect someone else? Are you the one, or should we expect someone else? He's a bit unclear as to the identity of Jesus. And a church that's not clear about Christ, a church that tries to build a foundation on other people, apart from Christ, will struggle to build a church. But a church that has Christ as its foundation, it's actually said in this passage that there's no government, there's no spiritual opposition that can begin to prevent the advancement of God's kingdom by a church that is clear on the identity of Jesus.